I found out my younger sister is having an affair with my boyfriend of 4 years, and they were planning to run away together. I discovered their entire plan written out in detail, including how they'd tell everyone after they left. I, 27F, am writing this from my parents' guest room, still processing the nuclear bomb I dropped on my family 2 weeks ago. My younger sister, Claire, 24F, and my now ex-boyfriend, Josh, 28M, have been having an affair behind my back for almost a year. They weren't just hooking up, they were in love, planning a future together, and were literally days away from running away and leaving me to pick up the pieces. Instead, I found out about their plan and exposed them in the most devastating way possible. I don't regret it. Let me give you the background. Claire and I grew up close, or so I thought. She's 3 years younger than me, and as kids we did everything together. I was protective of her, defended her from bullies, helped her with homework, gave her advice about boys. When our dad got sick with cancer when I was 16 and she was 13, we leaned on each other even more. Our family has always been tight-knit. Our parents, our older brother, Marcus, 30M, Claire, and me. I met Josh 4 years ago through work. I was working as a marketing coordinator at a mid-sized company, and Josh was a graphic designer in the creative department. We started as friends, began dating after a few months, and quickly became serious. He was my best friend and my partner. We moved in together after 1.5 years. We talked about marriage, about buying a house, about our future. I thought we were solid. Josh and Claire met pretty early in our relationship, maybe 3 months in. At the time, Claire was 20, just finishing up college, living at home with our parents. Josh would come to family dinners, holiday gatherings, birthday parties. He got along great with my family. My parents loved him. Marcus thought he was a good guy. And Claire seemed to like him fine, friendly, but not overly so. Just normal siblings boyfriend interactions. After Claire graduated, she moved into an apartment about 20 minutes from where Josh and I lived. She got a job as an administrative assistant at a law firm and seemed to be doing well. We'd see her regularly. She'd come over for dinner sometimes. We'd meet up for shopping or coffee. She'd join Josh and me for movies or game nights with friends. Again, everything seemed normal. Sisterly. Appropriate. About 8 months ago, Claire started dating a guy named Trevor, 26M. Trevor was nice, worked in finance, seemed stable and responsible, treated Claire well. Our parents were thrilled. Marcus approved. I was happy for her. They got serious quickly, and 6 months into their relationship, Trevor proposed. Claire said yes. Our parents were over the moon. We started planning an engagement party. The engagement party was scheduled for 2 weeks ago, a big celebration at our parents' house with extended family, friends, everyone important in Claire and Trevor's lives. Our mom went all out with decorations, catering, the works. It was supposed to be a beautiful celebration of Claire and Trevor's future together. Except Claire had a different future planned. One that didn't include Trevor. One that included my boyfriend instead. I found out about the affair completely by accident. Last month, I was at Claire's apartment helping her address invitations for the engagement party. Claire had gone to pick up lunch, leaving me alone in her living room with stacks of envelopes and a guest list. Her laptop was open on the coffee table, and when I reached for another envelope, I accidentally bumped the trackpad and the screen woke up. A Google Doc was open. The title at the top. The plan, do not share. I should have closed the laptop. I should have minded my own business. But something about that title made me pause. The plan? What plan? I started reading. It was a document written by Claire, apparently shared with one other person. I'd later discover it was Josh. It was detailed, organized, methodical, and it destroyed my entire world. The document outlined a plan for Claire and Josh to run away together. I'm not talking about a vague fantasy. This was a concrete plan with dates, logistics, and contingencies. The opening paragraph. Josh and I have been together for 11 months now. We love each other, and we know we want to be together permanently. But we can't keep sneaking around. We can't keep lying. The guilt is eating us both alive, especially Josh. So we've decided, we're going to leave. We'll move across the country, start fresh, and deal with the fallout from a distance. It's the only way. I felt like I'd been punched in the stomach. 11 months. They'd been together for 11 months. Almost a year. While I'd been living with Josh, sleeping beside him every night, planning our future with him. While Claire had been getting engaged to Trevor, planning a wedding with him. The document continued with sections. Timeline. March 15th, Claire will go through with engagement party. Too late to cancel. Would raise suspicions. March 18th. Josh will tell Opie he needs to visit his sick aunt in Oregon for a week. His aunt isn't sick. This is the cover story. March 18th. Claire will tell Trevor she needs to visit a college friend who's going through a crisis in Seattle for a few days. March 19th. Josh and Claire meet in Portland, Oregon, halfway point. March 20th. We officially start our new life together. Logistics. Josh has been saving money in a separate account Opie doesn't know about. $8,000 saved so far. Claire has been saving from her paychecks. $6,000 saved. We'll rent an apartment in Portland under Josh's name initially. Josh will look for graphic design work remotely or in Portland. Claire will find administrative work in Portland. Telling people. We'll wait 1 week after arriving to send emails/texts. We'll each write a letter explaining everything. We know this will hurt people, especially Opie and Trevor, but we believe honesty, eventually, is better than continuing to lie. We'll ask our families for understanding and space to process. We hope eventually everyone will see we're meant to be together. Concerns. Opie will be devastated, Josh's biggest guilt point. Trevor will be blindsided, Claire's biggest guilt point. Both families will be furious. We might lose relationships permanently. But we love each other, and we deserve to be happy. There was more, pages more, detailing everything from what they'd pack to how they'd handle shared leases to what they'd say in their explanation letters. They'd thought of everything. I sat there, staring at the screen, my hands shaking. My sister and my boyfriend. Together for almost a year. Planning to abandon me and Trevor and run away like this was some romantic movie instead of a cruel betrayal. I heard the apartment door open. Claire was back with lunch. I quickly closed the laptop and tried to compose my face. Claire walked in with bags of Thai food, smiling. Got your pad CEW, she said cheerfully. Hope you're hungry. I wasn't hungry. I felt sick. But I forced a smile. Thanks. Actually, I just remembered I have a work thing I need to handle. Can we finish the invitations later? Oh, sure. No problem. You okay? You look pale. Just tired. Didn't sleep well last night. I left Claire's apartment, got in my car, and sat in the parking lot for 20 minutes trying to process what I just read. Then I did something calculated. I went back to Claire's apartment building, told the front desk I'd forgotten something, and asked if they could let me back into Claire's apartment. Claire and I had done this before when one of us forgot something, so the desk attendant didn't think twice. Once back in the apartment, I took photos of the entire document. Every single page. Then I left for real. Over the next few days, I went into investigation mode. I needed more evidence. I needed to understand the full scope of the betrayal before I decided what to do. I checked Josh's phone while he was in the shower. Found texts between him and Claire going back months. They used code names for each other. He called her Sunshine. She called him Bear. The texts were romantic, sexual, full of inside jokes and declarations of love. They talked about how hard it was to be apart, how they couldn't wait to be together for real, how guilty they felt but how much they loved each other. I found texts about their meetups. They'd been seeing each other whenever Josh claimed to be working late, or meeting college friends, or going to the gym. Some nights when I thought Josh was beside me in bed, he'd actually been at Claire's apartment, coming home in the early morning hours while I was asleep. I found texts from times when Claire had come over for sister dinners with Josh and me. After she'd leave, Josh would text her, "Missed holding your hand tonight," or "Hated pretending you were just her sister." Claire would respond, "Soon we won't have to pretend anymore." I felt like I was living in a nightmare. Every happy memory from the past year was tainted. Every family dinner where we'd all laughed together, they'd been lying. Every time Claire had asked me for relationship advice about Trevor, she'd been cheating on him with my boyfriend. Every night I'd fallen asleep next to Josh, he'd been thinking about my sister. I also checked our joint bank account and found that Josh had indeed been moving money to a separate account. Not huge amounts that would be noticeable, but $200 here, $300 there. Over months, it added up to exactly what the document had stated. $8,000. I had all the evidence I needed. Now I had to decide what to do with it. Part of me wanted to confront them immediately, to scream and rage and demand explanations. But another part of me, the part that was absolutely enraged, wanted them to suffer the way they'd planned to make Trevor and me suffer. They were going to run away and send explanation letters after the fact? They were going to avoid facing the consequences of their actions in person? No. They were going to face this head-on, publicly, in front of everyone they'd been lying to. The engagement party was in 1 week. According to their timeline, they'd go through with the party to avoid suspicion, then leave 3 days later, which meant they were planning to celebrate Claire and Trevor's engagement while planning to run away together days later. The audacity was stunning. I decided I'd let them think their plan was working. I'd act normal. And then I'd expose them at the engagement party in front of both families, in front of Trevor, in front of everyone. It was risky. It was dramatic. But they'd been planning to humiliate Trevor and me by abandoning us. I was going to make sure they faced immediate consequences instead. For the next week, I acted completely normal. I came home to Josh every night and pretended I didn't know he was planning to leave me. I texted Claire about engagement party details and pretended I didn't know she was planning to run away with my boyfriend. I smiled at family dinners and helped my mom with party preparations and acted like my entire world wasn't about to implode. It was the hardest week of my life. Several times I almost broke down, but I held it together. I had a plan. I also quietly told 3 people what I discovered: my brother Marcus, my best friend Alana, and my cousin David, who's close to both Claire and me. I needed support, and I needed witnesses who knew the truth ahead of time. All 3 were horrified and swore to keep it secret until the party. Marcus wanted to confront Claire immediately, but I convinced him to wait. She deserves to be exposed publicly, I told him. They were going to humiliate Trevor and me by running away. They don't get to avoid consequences. The night of the engagement party arrived. Our parents' house was beautifully decorated, string lights, flowers everywhere, elegant table settings. About 60 people were there. Both families, close friends, Trevor's co-workers, Claire's friends. Everyone was dressed up, drinking champagne, celebrating the happy couple. I arrived with Josh. Both of us dressed nicely. Josh seemed nervous. In retrospect, probably because the party meant he was 3 days away from executing his escape plan. Claire looked beautiful in a navy dress, smiling and accepting congratulations, with Trevor beside her looking proud and happy. It was sickening, but I smiled and hugged Claire and told Trevor I was so happy for them. I chatted with relatives and nibbled on appetizers and waited for the right moment. That moment came when Trevor stood up to make a toast. Everyone gathered around with champagne glasses as Trevor clinked his glass to get attention. "I just want to say a few words," Trevor began. "Claire, you've made me the happiest man alive. I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you. You're beautiful, smart, funny, and I thank God every day that I found you. Here's to our future together." Everyone awed and clinked glasses. Claire smiled and kissed Trevor. I felt Josh tense beside me. Then I stood up. "Actually, I'd like to say something too." My mom looked pleased. "Of course, honey." Claire looked at me, something flickering in her eyes. Maybe she sensed danger. But it was too late. "I want to talk about love," I began, my voice steady. "About what it means to truly love someone. To be faithful to them. To be honest with them." Trevor was nodding along, thinking I was giving some sisterly speech about relationships. "Unfortunately," I continued, "not everyone here understands those values. Some people here have been lying, cheating, planning to betray the people who trust them most." The room got very quiet. Claire had gone pale. Josh was staring at me with dawning horror. "Claire, would you like to tell Trevor about your plans? Or should I?" "What are you talking about?" Claire's voice was shaky. I'm talking about the fact that you've been having an affair with my boyfriend Josh for almost a year. I'm talking about the detailed plan I found on your laptop outlining how you two were going to run away to Portland together in 3 days. I'm talking about how you've been lying to everyone in this room, to Trevor, to me, to our parents, to everyone, while planning your escape. The silence was deafening. Then chaos erupted. Trevor. What? Claire. What is she talking about? My mother. This isn't funny, Opie. Stop joking around. Claire. That's not. You don't understand. I pulled out my phone. I have evidence. Text messages. Photos of your entire plan document. Bank statements showing Josh has been hiding money. Should I read some of the texts aloud? Like the one where Josh says can't wait to wake up next to you every morning without having to sneak away? Or the one where Claire says 3 more weeks and we're free? Josh finally spoke, his voice barely a whisper. Opie, please. Please what? Please keep your secret? Please let you run away without consequences? Please let you humiliate Trevor and me from a distance. I turned to Trevor. They were going to wait until they were in Portland to tell us. They were going to send letters explaining everything after they'd already left. You deserve better than that. Trevor looked at Claire, his face a mixture of confusion and devastation. Is this true? Claire was crying now. Trevor, I can explain. Is it true? She couldn't look at him. Yes. Trevor ripped off the engagement ring and threw it on the ground. We're done. He walked out of the party without another word. Several of his family members followed him. The room erupted in shocked conversation. My parents looked shell-shocked. Claire was sobbing. Josh looked like he wanted to disappear. My dad found his voice first. He turned to Claire with an expression I'd never seen before. Pure disappointment. How could you do this to your sister? To Trevor? We raised you better than this. Dad, please let me explain. Explain what? That you've been sleeping with your sister's boyfriend? That you got engaged to one man while planning to run away with another? What explanation makes that okay? My mom was crying, holding on to my dad. My brother Marcus stepped forward, his jaw clenched. You need to leave, Claire. You're not welcome here right now. This is my home. You lost the right to call it that when you betrayed your family. Marcus's voice was ice cold. Get out. Claire turned to Josh, maybe expecting him to defend her or stand by her. But Josh was already backing toward the door. I'm sorry, he mumbled to no one in particular. I'm so sorry, and he left. Claire looked around the room, at our parents who were crying, at our extended family who were staring at her with disgust, at her friends who looked horrified. No one was going to defend her. No one was going to tell her it was okay. I love him, Claire said desperately. We love each other. We didn't mean for this to happen. But you planned it, I said. You planned it meticulously. You made spreadsheets and timelines. You saved money. You booked apartments. This wasn't some impulsive mistake. You chose this. Every day for almost a year, you chose to betray me. My mom spoke up, her voice breaking. I think you need to leave, Claire. I can't look at you right now. Claire grabbed her purse and practically ran out of the house. The party was obviously over. Guests started leaving awkwardly, some stopping to hug me and tell me they were sorry, others just slipping out quietly. Within 30 minutes, the house was mostly empty except for our immediate family and a few close friends. I sat down heavily on the couch, the adrenaline finally leaving my body. Alana sat beside me and put her arm around my shoulders. My parents sat across from us, looking devastated. How long have you known? My mom asked quietly. About a week. I found their plan on Claire's laptop by accident. Why didn't you tell us? Because I wanted them to face what they'd done. They were going to run away like cowards. I wanted to make sure they couldn't avoid the consequences. My dad nodded slowly. I'm proud of you for standing up for yourself. But I'm so sorry you had to go through this. The next few days were intense. Claire tried calling me multiple times. I didn't answer. She tried calling our parents. They didn't answer either. She showed up at the house, and my dad turned her away at the door. She sent long text messages trying to explain, trying to justify, trying to get us to understand that she and Josh fell in love and couldn't help it. I finally responded to one of her texts. You could help it. You could have told me as soon as you developed feelings for Josh. You could have broken up with Trevor before getting engaged. You could have been honest. Instead, you lied for a year and planned to abandon us without facing us. You made your choices. Now live with them. She didn't text again after that. Josh also tried to contact me. He came to our apartment, where I'd changed the locks, and begged to talk. I refused. He sent emails apologizing, saying he never meant to hurt me, that he was confused, that he'd made terrible choices. I didn't respond. Through mutual friends, I heard that Josh and Claire did try to go through with their Portland plan. They left town together about a week after the party. But reality set in quickly. Without the secretiveness and thrill of an affair, without the fantasy, their relationship apparently crumbled. Claire called my mom crying after 2 weeks, saying she'd made a huge mistake and wanted to come home. My mom told her she could come home, but that things would never be the same. Claire came back 3 weeks after the party. She and Josh had broken up in Portland. He'd stayed there. She'd returned home. She moved back in with our parents temporarily because she couldn't afford her apartment anymore. Trevor had been helping with rent. She tried to apologize to me. Showed up at my new apartment. I'd moved out of the place Josh and I shared, and knocked on my door. I let her in, but only to hear what she had to say. I'm so sorry, she started, tears already streaming down her face. I know I hurt you in the worst possible way. I know what I did was unforgivable. I don't even know why I did it. Josh and I just connected, and it felt so intense, and I convinced myself it was real love. But it wasn't. It was just an affair. And I destroyed everything for it. I destroyed your relationship. I destroyed things with Trevor. I destroyed our family. I'm so sorry. I listened to her whole speech. Then I said, I accept your apology, but that doesn't mean I forgive you. And it doesn't mean we'll ever have the relationship we used to have. You didn't just cheat with my boyfriend. You planned to humiliate me by running away. You were going to let me come home one day and find Josh gone with a note. That kind of cruelty isn't something I can just get over. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. But I hope someday. Maybe someday. But not today. Not for a long time. Claire left. We've had minimal contact since then. She's living with our parents, trying to rebuild her life. She lost her job when she quit to run away with Josh and is looking for new employment. She's become something of a pariah in our family and social circle. People know what she did, and they've judged her harshly for it. My parents are struggling with how to handle the situation. They love Claire, but they're also disgusted by what she did. My mom told me she feels like she failed as a parent, that she doesn't understand how Claire could do something so hurtful. My dad has been cold toward Claire, speaking to her only when necessary. Marcus has completely cut Claire off. He's told her that what she did was unforgivable and he wants nothing to do with her until she truly understands the gravity of her actions. As for Trevor, I reached out to him to apologize for exposing everything so publicly and to make sure he was okay. He was grateful I'd told him, said he'd rather know the truth than marry someone capable of that level of deception. He's been in therapy processing everything. We've actually become friends through this, bonded by shared betrayal. Josh, as far as I know, is still in Portland. He lost most of his friends in the fallout. People chose sides, and most chose mine. His family is embarrassed by what he did. I've heard through the grapevine that he's been trying to date, but that once women find out what he did, our story made its way through our social circles. They want nothing to do with him. Good. As for me, I'm healing. It's been 2 months now, and while I still have moments of anger and hurt, I'm mostly just relieved. Relieved I found out before Josh and I got married. Relieved I didn't waste more years with someone capable of that level of betrayal. Relieved that Claire showed her true colors before I trusted her with anything important again. I'm in therapy, working through the betrayal and the loss of 2 of the most important relationships in my life. I'm focusing on my career, on my friendships, on rebuilding my sense of self-worth that took a hit through all of this. And I'm proud of myself for how I handled it. Yes, exposing them publicly was dramatic. Yes, it caused a scene. But they were planning to humiliate Trevor and me privately, to leave us to pick up the pieces while they rode off into the sunset together. Instead, they faced immediate consequences. They faced the disgust and disappointment of everyone they'd lied to. They couldn't escape accountability. Some people have said I was too harsh, that I should have confronted them privately, that I shouldn't have ruined the engagement party. But here's my perspective. They ruined the engagement party by planning to run away together days after it. They ruined any chance of private, dignified resolution when they spent a year lying to everyone. They made their choices. I just made sure everyone knew what those choices were. To anyone dealing with betrayal from someone close to you, you're allowed to be angry. You're allowed to expose the truth. You're allowed to protect yourself and make sure people know what really happened. Don't let anyone tell you that you should have been more mature or handled it privately. The cheaters didn't handle things with maturity. They lied and snuck around and planned to humiliate you. You get to respond however you need to in order to heal. And to anyone planning to cheat with a sibling's partner, just don't. The temporary thrill isn't worth destroying your family. The connection you feel probably isn't as special as you think. It's likely just the excitement of doing something forbidden.